Finally, after 2 whole seasons, Mark finally bagged Eve, and I love how their relationship has such a natural progression to it. It never feels rushed or forced. We're just watching 2 young adults navigating the world of love. Also, Mark's powers have grown so much to the point that he finally lives up to the name. So yeah, season 3 so far has really covered quite a lot, including that ending. So let's do a quick review and see what that ending really means for the rest of the season. Ending explained. So by the end of episode 3, we saw that someone had been watching Mark and his family and gathering videos of his life. I believe this was Armstrong Levi. How he survived and came back, I have no clue. But I do know this, he's back with a thirst of blood, and may even bring in a more psychotic Mark from another universe into our reality. So we should keep an eye out for that for the rest of the season. Splits and divides. This entire season so far has shown a theme of breakups, of teams or disagreements. From the Guardians of the Globe splitting up into 2 after what happened between Mark and Cecil, Mark and Cecil splitting up after the secrets between the 2 of them, plus Mark and Oliver having differences in how they go about things, making it extremely hard for them to work together in a cohesive fashion. Parallels. Throughout the season, we also get to see multiple parallels between Mark and Omni-Man and also Oliver and Omni-Man. Mark, when pushed to a wall, he practically loses his limiter for a few seconds, thus allowing him to be able to kill all the Reanimen in such a severe and gruesome fashion. The way the Guardians of the Globe just watched in sheer horror, as with one swing, he easily cut through 5 or so Reanimen. If you pay close enough attention to it, you'll also notice that every single move he performed against them was similar to what Omni-Man did when he killed off the previous members of the Guardians of the Globe. As for Oliver, he went through the Mauler twins with such ease and without an ounce of pain or emotion, just like his father, once again showing that the Viltrumite way is literally buried deep within their own DNA. So what does that say about Mark? Is Mark on a path of self-destruction because his DNA is Viltrumite DNA? Or will he be the 1 in a million? Literally the 1 in a million, because the Mark we know in our reality is the only Mark who did not side with his father, who did not go genocidal maniac and decide to kill half the world. As for Oliver, we also got to see his powers come into full swing. However, we also saw growing pains associated with those powers. So every single fight nearly mirrored Mark's first fights until Oliver stopped holding back. Oliver going all out really puts into perspective the sheer strength that Viltrumites have against basically everyone else. So as for the rest of the season, it will be fantastic to see how Oliver learns to use his powers effectively and actually try not to become a murderous psychopath. But also, food for thought, if Oliver was able to go through the Mauler twins in that way, what is Mark capable of at this very moment? So carrying on the story of Mark, Mark has actually grown immensely in season 3 and is now officially the strongest being on the planet, hands down. If Mark went rogue, there's literally no one on the planet strong enough to stop him. And I love how so far Cecil continues to see that each episode as it goes on. Every countermeasure he put in place for containing Mark has failed, just cementing how powerful Mark really is. Apart from that, Mark also finally got a chance with Eve, and I cannot emphasize this enough. I love that they finally understand each other and the insane lives that they both have, which is why I'm totally rooting for them for the next seasons, and until this thing ends, I'm rooting for them. As for Cecil, we got to see a background story that showed us just how much Cecil really went through as he went up the ranks. We saw why he actually had the scar on his face and how he got the line about being good and saving the world, which is something Mark just won't quantify or understand just yet. But I'm sure he definitely will once he sees Armstrong Levi yet again. And well, this season Cecil has gotten a lot of backlash from fans, mainly because of the countermeasures he's put in place and the way he antagonized Mark. Although I do think the countermeasures are the good thing. They are proper, because Omni-Man did a madness on the whole world basically. So having countermeasures for the most powerful being on the planet is just the most logical thing to do. But the way he went about explaining that he has countermeasures was just not the best. Like, you can't tell someone who can literally lift Texas. Yeah, they can lift Texas, and you're telling them, oh yeah, I'm limiting you. I put a chip inside you. You can't stop me, Mark. Mark, you can't stop me. There's nothing you can do, Mark. I'm in charge here. Like, that is not the right way. And that's why Cecil is going down. But I still do think Cecil still has a bit of faith in Mark, because of the things that Mark has done. Mark has had so many chances to kill Cecil, but still didn't. So to me, that shows a level of faith. Anyway, I can't wait to see what episode 4 brings to the table. We're gonna be seeing more of Armstrong Levi. Armstrong Levi.